Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I hope you're healthy and safe. We left off with Jacqueline's excellent dissertation here. These 10 suchnesses refer to Myoho Renge Kyo, the 10 suchnesses that we recite in every gongyo, right? Nyose so, nyose in, nyose en, nyose kan, nyose hon, nyose hon maku kyoto, that whole paragraph. Right? Through the 3 factors. Realms. I've talked on this in other videos. This Saha world is a land wherein one attains the way, don't really attain it, we awaken it, by virtue of the oral sense faculty. Mouth, ear, oral sense faculty. As I quoted before, quote, you must know that our body and land, ... The persons of all living beings are endowed with the 100 realms, right? The 10 worlds within the 10 worlds, 100 realms. The 10 suchnesses, each realm having its own expression, suchnesses. And 3,000 realms. Because the Lotus Sutra clarifies this meaning, all living beings who hear it are beings who have obtained the reward body. Well, not the reward body. I'll come to that later. This says merit, but the reward is having heard it. You can't unhear it. And that'll become clearer as we go on here. As for, quote, all living beings, end quote, surely this includes trees and grasses, tiles and rocks, sentient and insentient. Now this is where people have a problem. Wait a minute, you're telling me a rock can be enlightened, awakened? That's not the point. If you understand what I've been saying over and over and over and over, that all phenomena, from gas to star to tree, blade of grass, human being, all, the universe itself as a phenomena, okay, is an emergent property of energy agitated, formation. It's gluing together of different aspects of energy, kinetics, momentum, amalgamating, creating, manifesting waves, fields, particles, stuff. Anyone who's heard the story of, well, the Big Bang, although it's kind of a weird thing to call it, but this great hyper hot plasma expanding, cooling, and precipitating amalgams of energy into photons, hydrogen atoms, oxygen, nitrogen, helium, cooling more still until some of those things combine to create solid or gases, more gases, gases collecting and cooling further and clumping together into ice, right? Think, what do you call them? Asteroids. Finally into stars, and then stars accruing stuff around them, and planets, more asteroids, so on and so forth. I don't want to have a complete cosmology physics class here, but all of us have seen enough television, certainly, to know the basic story here, right? But what you tend to forget is that all of this different stuff of samsara all comes from the same thing. You've heard songs talk about it, we're stardust, we're golden. Because ultimately, every single piece of what we're constructed of, ultimately deconstructed, is energy. And we in physics, or particle physics anyway, we have the audacity, I think, to name a certain set of properties a particle, when in fact it isn't. This is why quantum is so fascinating, because it demonstrates at the very small, detailed level that everything is a particle and a wave. Well, the truth is it's a wave. It's only a particle when you identify it in a certain location. And then all of that coalesces into a definition of what's going on in that spot. And that spot that you just made up is a particle. But that's just a definition of the field of possibility that this certain combination of energies represents. And the only thing Buddha has been saying all along is that that fundamental core, that energy of potential, that's Buddha. Everything owes its existence to that. I made a video probably 2 years ago of the two Buddhas. There's the Buddha that is fundamental to all phenomena. It's energy potential. As soon as something agitates that energy, there's that potential takes on the character of forming. Not form, forming. There's a certain combination of energies combining, roiling around, eschewing some, gathering others, forming. And then that forming energy joins with other forming energies, or not. And at some point, and this happens in an instant, something is formed. In between energy and form is this formation. The Nidana dissects this, right? That is karma. That is what karma is. The energy of formations leads to some type of form, whether it's gas or solid or thought. That's karma. And everything that we experience is karma manifest. And as you and I can make causes take actions, just as a river takes actions, rubbing against rocks alters the rocks, alters the river. We are capable of far more actions than a river, but this process is the same. That's why we talk about karma with a big K, starting from energy, formations, form, instantiation. to karma with a little k, our little short, brief lifetime, we can exert a lot of influence on the direction our life moves. This is why we're Buddhist. Because if we're going to exert activity, influence on the momentum and the kinetics of our lifetime, then shouldn't we be better off? Wouldn't we be better off? Wouldn't it be the pinnacle of life to influence through the clear lens of what is the formation of everything, fully expressed, without reservation? That's why we want to tap into this Buddha-ness. Excuse me. Yes, dear. It's a little alarm. At least I made it sing to me, so it's not too rude. So, and this is what Shakyamuni is talking about. He says, yeah, the grasses and the rocks, in one respect, in a samsaric respect, they're so distant from us but in the term of formation, the 400 or the 40 billion year history of the universe, you and I aren't that different from a blade of grass. Albeit, you and I have the extreme precision and benefit of manifesting an emergent property of mind. We can witness. And with that ability, we can influence our own inertia, our own momentum. Right? This is what he's saying. Concerning the case of grasses and trees, the Ching Kwang Pei, the Vajraskalpo, states, right? This isn't Nichiren. This is much older scholarship. A blade of grass, a tree, a pebble, a mote of dust. Each has the Buddha nature, of course. It's made of energy no different than you and I are, albeit a much more simple amalgam. Ask anyone who's had a kidney stone if they know all about stone. And each is endowed with the cause and effect of Buddhahood. The beginning of the Dharma Preacher chapter, Lotus Sutra, reads, quote, countless heavenly beings, dragon kings, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, kinnaras, mahoragas, beings, human and non-human, monks and nuns, so on and so on and so on. Of those who hear even a single verse or phrase of the Sutra of the Lotus Blossom of the Wonderful Law of Dharma, and rejoice accordingly, even for a single moment, upon them all I, Shakyamuni, confer a prophecy of anuttara-sanmyak-sambodhi, complete and perfect enlightenment. Boom, drop the mic. You don't have to be a follower of Nichiren or a follower of Tendai or any of the other teachers. Shakyamuni, the experiencer and teacher of this thing we call Buddhism. Why ism? Because we're all trying to achieve what he achieved, Buddha. A single verse or phrase. How often has Nichiren quoted this right out of the Lotus Sutra? Nichiren didn't invent this. Nichiren just brought attention to it. Said, look, Shakyamuni's been saying this all along. Non-human refers in general to the entire sentient realms apart from the human world, to all that has a mind. That's why it's sentient. It has the emergent property of a mind. Yeah, that includes your pets. How much more so does the Buddhist prophecy apply to those of the human world? We have the most developed faculty, emergent mind. right? There's nothing else in our experience for hundreds of thousands of years that goes beyond our mental capacity. Mental capacity. It's always in the subject matter. Practitioners of the Lotus Sutra, if they practice as it teaches, shall surely attain Buddhahood within this one lifetime, not excepting a single person. Okay. Why does he make a specific point of saying you will attain enlightenment in this one lifetime? One. Remember who he's talking to. This incarnation, reincarnation, this Buddha lands far away, this next lifetime when everything will be right. Stop it. That's not Buddhism. I'm sorry if this comes as a surprise to you, but listen carefully. If you practice the Lotus Sutra as it teaches, this is a quote, shall surely attain Buddhahood within this one lifetime. Because there are no others. There is no bag of bob. This is it. And this is the method for attaining enlightenment, awakening what already is extant in all phenomena in this emergent mind, so that you can influence your life to its maximal potential, protection, and just glide through life without the stresses, anxieties of the attachments and all the stuffness. It takes effort. It's not easy. If you've practiced at all, you know this is true. To illustrate, in the spring and autumn one prepares the fields, and though some may ripen sooner than others later, within the year one can surely gather the harvest. Practitioners of the Lotus Sutra may include those of superior, intermediate, and lesser capacity, but they will surely within this one lifetime attain enlightenment. Again, he says it. This isn't some future thing. This isn't some death cult where we're all waiting to die before we can actually be happy. He's calling that out directly. Chuan of the Xuan Yi states, quote, whether they are of superior, medium, or inferior capacity, the Buddha confers his prophecy upon all. The Buddha being Shakyamuni in this case, confers his prophecy upon all. But even if you know that Buddha is this fundamental force, this fundamental collection of energy prior to formation, what I would say is a quiescent state of energy just humming along before it's agitated and starts to create or starts to unfold formations. That instant of collection of energies that creates the momentum, the kinetic energy that then combines again and again and again and grows into the force of life. You could call it life force. The manifestations of these various amalgams of energy, right? Solidification, gasification, liquefaction, all of the various. We've talked about this as a species throughout all the world, even without Buddhism. We talk about earth, fire, wind, rain, right? The elements, the fundamental elements that everything is constructed of. Those who think they can attain Buddhahood merely by observing the mind are lacking one aspect. You just sit there and think your thoughts. It's going to be exceedingly difficult to arrive at awakening your Buddha nature, your Buddha-ness, from simply analyzing your samsaric mind. How much more are those who advocate the seated meditation, zazen, of the separate transmission outside the teachings? The Dharma Preacher chapter reads, this is about you, the Zen people. Medicine King. There are many people, both householders and those who have left household life, who practice the Bodhisattva way. If they have not been able to see and hear, read and recite, copy and uphold, or make offerings to this Lotus Sutra, there it is again, the read, recite, right? Be it known that these people have not yet well practiced the Bodhisattva way. It's harsh. There's no room for misunderstanding here. All misunderstandings come from hidden agendas, people wanting to promote a certain way of thinking. Because if you read carefully and pay attention, this is a very strict, straight line of practice here. There's no room for inculcating other stuff. But if there are any who have been able to hear this scripture, they are the ones who can very well carry out the Bodhisattva way. If it were possible to attain Buddhahood only through observing the mind, then why would the sutra speak of seeing and hearing, reading and reciting? For that matter, why even have an oral teaching? Just contemplate your navel. This sutra, from first to last, makes hearing its basis. Is that a surprise statement? No. This sutra, did it again, does not discriminate against evil men, women, those of the two vehicles, or ichantikas. Therefore, it says that all will attain the Buddha way, and also speaks of the impartial great wisdom. When one hears that good and evil are non-dual, and that wrong and right are a single suchness, one can directly attain Buddhahood as an inner realization. This is called becoming a Buddha in one's present body. And because one will achieve it in one lifetime, it is called the wondrous enlightenment achieved in a single lifetime. Even those people who do not know the sutra's meaning, because they chant its title, will experience the joy that only a Buddha and a Buddha amongst Buddhas can share. As the sutra states, I, Shakyamuni, will rejoice, and the other Buddhas will do likewise. I'm going to stop there. I think rereading these aspects of the Lotus Sutra, and if you haven't read it in a while, with your study, you should reread it. Read a different translation of it. These things will jump out at you a lot differently, certainly, than your first reading of the Lotus Sutra. So I highly recommend find a different publication and read the Lotus Sutra again, and see if you don't suddenly really boldly hear, see, listen to your own mind going, there it is. And Nichiren spent his whole life promulgating, getting people to read the Lotus Sutra correctly, clearly, with intent. And they're talking about sight and hearing. It's no wonder that Nichiren in this latter day understood that we're so inundated by images, sounds, distractions, that to create this mandala was absolute genius. It gives us that much required that we can focus on while we enunciate, invoke, and listen to the very essence of our nature. That formative potential energy that we all are made of. Everything is derivative of, manifested of, and inculcated into our mind so that we can use it to hone our mental skills, vision, understanding, hearing, without attachments, without delusions, without all the defilements that color our perfect senses and obfuscate what's really going on in our life, that we might see right past those influences, those veils of misunderstanding that samsara puts in front of us, all due to our need to possess and make permanent everything that we invent around us, perceive around us. To perceive right through those things to absolute clarity of direction, of vision, of being. That's Buddha. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. So yeah, Buddha's here and now. Be enlightened today, right now, this moment. Don't wait. Don't think of your arduous practice of Gangyo and Daimoku someday. No. Single-mindedly seeking Buddha. Now, this moment. Because it's with you all the time. You're just not utilizing it. So stop knocking on the door and walk through that thing. That's the attitude when you go to your mandala. Chant with that. Demand. Wake up. I know sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes you just glide through it, though, don't you? And you walk away, and it's almost like you don't know what to do with yourself. That's kind of a cool place to be, because then you realize there's really nothing that important. Anyway, enjoy your practice. Thank you for listening. Download the podcast. Like, subscribe, share. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. You are all bodhisattvas. You're working at it. And there's no reason you can't instantiate your Buddha-ness right now, this moment. Every time you chant, you do. And far more potently with the help of your Butsudan mandala, as that ensures no distractions, right? I'm proud of you guys. This practice takes work. But it's really confidence boosting, isn't it, to know that it's already in there. We're just getting in our own way. So stop it. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.